Hello, I'm Todd Gatewood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Patterson Gimlin film and my work restoring it and archiving it and bringing it to you. I appreciate you following me and subscribing to my channel. So I kind of wanted to just give you a public service announcement, if you will, of what's going on with it. We all love that film. So I thought, well, hey, maybe even though it's not done yet, I can go ahead and visit with you guys about it and kind of give you some ideas what's happening. First of all, I have to let everybody know that I'm dedicating my work to Roger Patterson. He he did shoot the most enigmatic piece of film I think known to man, and that's going beyond the JFK film. And I want to dedicate this work to Bob Gimlin, a survivor who is still alive and has seen this, and he's aware of my work, I'm told. And we have visited with some mutual friends and is excited, and I'm excited for that. Lastly, I'm dedicating this work to Bill Munn. And Bill Munn has been so instrumental in teaching me about this through his book. And by the way, if you haven't already, pick up this book. It's on Amazon. It's worth the money. Grab it. It's called When Roger Met Patty by William Munns. And, you know, he has helped me out. He's talked, we've visited a lot about what I'm doing. He's provided insight, he's provided content, just a lot of things. And I don't think there's no one more proficient and a bigger expert on the Patterson film than Bill Munns. He has the most copies archived. He's studied the most in depth. He's not studying it from film grabs from TV. He has the real deal and many copies of it to work with. So big shout out to Bill. So those are the guys I'm dedicating my work to here on this. I want to say thanks also in helping me in my journey in Bigfoot to some people who I really admire and just think a lot of. You've got Robert Maxwell, thank you. He's a content provider. And by the way, if I mention someone, I'll put a link in the description down below. So go there, you know what to do. Robert Maxwell, Cabin in the Woods, I really appreciate his work and content. I got to do a big shout out to Randy Harrington, just a great guy and researcher. He's real boots on the ground. You're just going to keep hearing more and more about him. And subscribe to his channel, please. And also Todd Standing, who we all know and has done what I think has filmed a real Bigfoot. And there's some exciting stuff coming up for Todd. There's some engineering software. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but not the whole thing. I think I'm going to let Todd do all that. But there's software, third-party software from engineers that are going to really or be an eye opener for him. So more of that in the future as he and I collaborate. You know, people have said they say there's no Bigfoot experts, but I'm just gonna disagree with that because we've been going at this for over 50 years as a community, Bigfooters, and there's a lot of experts. You've got Dr. Meldrum, an expert, no doubt. You've got Cliff Barackman and that whole team, experts. You've got the Olympic Project. Those guys, experts. Randy Harrington, expert. I mean, the list, Bill Munn, expert. The list goes on and on nowadays. Who are experts? They have a lot of time collectively and are experts at different things. And so that's what they are. They really are. So we have a lot of knowledge to pull from. And one of the things I want to do with this documentary is I want to try to get the Bigfoot community to row the canoe in the same direction. Roger Patterson was a filmmaker, and my goal is, in my mind, to have him really like what I have done. And that's my motivation, is to help please him and Bob Gimlin. So much happened around that film when it was shot that you never got to really see great copies. And then the people who were in charge of a lot of it never were really cared about showing you a great copy. It had a lot of other things involved in it, but I think there's a lot more on that film that we need to see, and you're going to see it. Now, I don't mean when I say you're going to see it, you know, imagine I've been doing this since I was a kid, and can you imagine you're out a paper route and you order this book that you've been waiting for a long time. You spent your hard-earned money, and you get this book, and it's by Renee DeHenden, and it's called Sasquatch. And it tells you when you're looking at this that it's got 8 pages of astonishing photos, including frames from the famous Bluff Creek film. He doesn't even call it the Patterson film or the Patterson Gimlin film. It's a famous Bluff Creek film. But anyway, you're a kid. You're not going to read all that to get down to the famous pages. So you go to it and you scroll in and you get to the first page, and this is what you see. All right. And then you go, oh, well, it's got to be on the next one. And then this is what you see. And then you go to the next one. And you see this. And you're like, that these astonishing photos, including the frames from the Patterson, from the famous Bluff Creek film, are here. And you're going to get to see it and her in all her glory. And then you get to it. And in amazement, you go, and that's a ginormous nothing burger. So we're not going to have that with this folks. You have behind me a print copy of part of the film that I'm working with, and the camera's focusing on me and not it, so it's not crystal clear. It's the equivalent of showing you something on my computer screen and saying, "Here, take my word for it, a picture of a picture," and just instead of uploading the file. That's pretty. It's not a way to really show anything convincingly. So anyway, I'm restoring the film. It's frame by frame. It's in terrible shape. It was in terrible shape. It had, the edges are cracked. I did not stick it on a machine and run it through it and scan it, there wouldn't be anything left of it but pieces. It's broken in many spots. Its edges are cracked, chipped, and have breaks coming up to the frame edges itself in many spots. The film is warped. The film is shrunk. The film has yellowing on some areas. In some areas, it has organic mold growing on it. So all this has to be cleaned up and digitally, and it just takes time. And I'm using software from Austria that's enterprise level. It's what the Eastman Kodak Museum uses to restore their prize films, or the Smith. And it's a one frame at a time thing. So it just takes time, guys. And what I'm going to show you is like nothing you've seen. My regret is that when it was copied by Roger Patterson originally, if he'd have done an optical print on a 35 millimeter, that would have been perfect. I wouldn't be here. There would be no need because we would have everything. But that's not happened. Copies of copies of copies get shown, and going back to get a decent version is quite hard, and it's rare. But it's been done. Now, so you are going to get to see it. It is 1 minute of film, and I'm going to take you through the process and show you what I've done with it and how it's been done. And there's a lot to go through. You know, anything with the Patterson film, any little side subject, whatnot, you can almost make a documentary about it. And there's a lot of questions for me that I've had or will be asked. But, you know, one of the things is, how did you copy it? And this is what I used. This is the camera that copied the film. Now, this is not the setup. I wasn't wielding it by hand, of course. It was on a custom-made mount that Danny Birchfield had helped me put together. Over time, we perfected that. And but I also had in between the lens and the body this wonderful jewel of German engineering and some other things. So we're going to talk about in my documentary as well. There's a lot of things that you have questions about, and I want to provide all those answers. I want you to understand things about upscaling and AI and what it is and what it is not. So we're going to go through some of that, but I want to have some entertainment mainly, and it's not a textbook film. There's time for that if somebody needs it. Okay, so one of the things I can tell you that I have done is there are a lot of frames in the film that were cut out of broadcast and thrown away. And in those frames, there's not trash. So you will see things that you've never seen. I can confidently tell you that. The main thing, I think, if you're coming to my documentary and you want to find out something salacious and controversial, it's not there for you. Um, and it's not there at all. And so if you come to it to watch it, I want you to see what Roger filmed that day, as he would have wanted you to see it. It's fascinating enough. We don't need far out anything with it. I'm going to take you through the process. We're going to watch it frame by frame together. It's going to take 10 minutes, but we're going to narrate and go through it with you so you know what you're seeing. We're going to go through and identify landmarks, and we're going to take you through the whole process. That's why I really recommend that you get Mr. Munn's book, because it will walk you through it. It's not visual, and this is a tough read in a way. It gets a lot of complications. There's charts, there's pictures, but you're a fan of the film like I am. You need this in your library. Go to Amazon, get it, and you can follow along and learn some stuff about it in the meantime. I can't tell you when I'm going to be done because I'm unfettered by deadlines. When I'm happy with it, it's going to be out. So that's my goal. So be happy with it. And there's a learning curve as well. So I'm on the curve and surfing it. So, but that's not a problem either. It's just time consuming in the big scheme. The film itself, you're going to see it happened like Roger and Bob told you it happened. And nothing more and nothing less. And you're going to get to see it all. That, friends, is utterly fantastic because that's moving us now to what is actually on that film. Who is actually on that film? What is actually on that film? And this is the bigger thing. It's not really, well, we can measure her footprints and we can argue for 50 years about how tall she is or how much she might weigh. But all those are side arguments that at this point we need to all come to an agreement that we understand and have some base knowledge on and go forward with this mystery. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So when I'm done, what's going to happen? Well, I don't want to spoil everything. I'll try to go into some depth here. I'm going to print it back on 16 millimeter. I'm going to use an Rflex digital laser printer. And that's going to be given to 3 different groups who will set on it over time. And the purpose is so they can go back and actually study the film as a film, like it's supposed to be. And I'll cover more of that process in the documentary and why it's pretty cool. The frames themselves, the individual frames themselves, will be copied to several mediums because going forward, we don't know how mediums will change of conservatorship. So we want to have several different things that it's on digitally. It's going to be given to 3 different groups in a frame by frame basis along with the film. So it can be carried forward. It can be studied in the future. There will be new technologies, and who knows what we'll get. You know, I imagine one day you'll be able to recreate the film just from a frame. It's not that far off. And I want you all to understand about the digital process. You know, when we edit, anytime there's an editor, you may be the photographer, but once it got your camera in the old days went to be developed, you had an editor, and they had a lot of different influence on what came out on your film. So it's always been that way. And I'm an editor here, and I'm trying to get just a true, clean picture. I want you to think about something that's been going on for almost 50 years in the digital world. It's the greatest thing about the digital world, zeros and ones. Think about in the 80s, compact disc players. The coolest thing ever, I thought. I wasn't a real great fan of albums and records. Of course, I loved them, but all that pop and hiss was like bacon frying. With compact discs, there's none of that. There's no background noise. You get to hear it. And the magical thing about that is, and it's not really magical and it's not artificial intelligence, it's just an algorithm, is when you look at a compact disc, many of them will have a hole in the disc, a physical hole. And that hole is missing information. And what you would think would be a pop isn't there because In 50-year-old algorithmic chip technology, the CD player knew how to reassemble that whole because it knew the zeros and ones in front of it, and it knew the zeros and ones behind it. And what you hear when you listen to the CD is perfect. It's exact. It's not AI. It's the song. There's no artist that can tell where that hole is in their music if presented the question of, where's the hole in your stuff? They can't because it's not there. And that's the beautiful thing about digital photography in the world. A lot of things that people are still going on with the Patterson film today, mis misconceptions about the quality, is based on techniques that we had with just lenses and printing paper. And it's gone way further than that. And a computer can look into an image and based on the size of the image can draw out even more detail than the human eye can see. And it's not making it up. It's there. There are technologies that do hallucinate and make it up, but that's not being used on this. This is a historical film, and it's going to be accurate to exactly what it is, using the best technology that I possibly have at my hands, which is the world's best. So that's what's going on, and I'm excited about it, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Check out my trailers for this that I have on my channel. I don't see a lot of content coming out because I'm busy working on this, but as it comes out and as things progress, then you'll see more here. I'm not sure to what level, but just as needed and that sort of thing. Follow the guys' channels that I mentioned earlier, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. And thank you very much. And we'll be Bigfooting together here soon, and we're all seeing things with this that have never been seen, and I'm excited. So stay tuned.